The Lower Georges River Sustainability Initiative aimed to promote sustainability by allowing people to take the first steps. It was important for us to begin where people were and let them identify what their needs and their passions were. When this is done, it's common for unanticipated things to be identified by the participants as the attractors and the motivators and the benefits. The video clips which follow provide some insights into the perspectives, motivating factors and benefits that developed for participants in some of the Lower Georges River Sustainability Initiative programs. In the Community Partnerships program, community members found that beyond the benefits of gardens and home food production, connections and relationships stood out as a feature of the pleasure and the success that they had achieved. Cars Park Community Garden was all about building some garden infrastructure and increasing their membership.
The friendships that developed as a result of this, and again outside the garden, is just really satisfying, and that's, you know, again, not necessarily to do with plants and dirt, but it's friendships and community and just caring and sharing for people is really, really strong.
Bringing in new members, we're continually developing the garden, we're continually developing community involvement, and that is that people come in and talk to us, go out and tell other people about us, and so we get more people coming through. And it helps us develop our new ideas too.
I think that whole thing about sense of community that we individually have, and also that idea of being part of the community, has been, for me, the most significant change in what has happened. We've gone from a small group to a larger group to being part of a larger community.
Yeah, I just think we're just on the cusp of really taking off, and what we've achieved has been quite wonderful.
Is there anything else that people have to say about the most significant change?
It'll be a significant change if I ever eat coriander.
Oatley Flora and Fauna aim to engage local people in understanding the importance of birds in backyards and encouraging people to plant suitable species for local bird habitat.
As far as the actual changes that have occurred, we've had some new members in Oatley Flora and Fauna, and some of those have been to the workshops, so I think there is a flow-on effect there. And there's some younger ones coming in, which is really exciting, because our membership is ageing, because they've been going 55 years at the organisation. So I like to see that as a positive one. We've got Matthew Moe over here, who's been involved, coming along and talking to us. And it's very inspiring for our members to actually hear about local flora and fauna as well as more distant places. But people's empowerment, I think people saying, I didn't think I could, I didn't realise how much you could do in a small area without much expense, and somebody else saying, oh, I thought you'd have to clean out nest boxes, so I wasn't going to put those in. So there are people who have actually been reassured by the workshops, I think, to go ahead and do things that they might have thought was too expensive or too hard, and one person said it's never too late to start trying.
People I noticed on the garden visits were actually thinking about landscaping their yards, and they were sort of always had busier things to do in their lives, and now they're sort of looking at it as a bit of a priority, especially if they've got young kids coming along and things like that. But everyone was quite willing to have a bit of a go at it, and I think that's the start to you know, this process of changing people's minds about what they can actually do with their gardens. So I think the majority of people were quite proactive in a way. So they were starting this garden themselves, and I think that's the best thing, rather than waiting for someone to sort of give them a bit of a push. So I think the workshop did a lot by that, and then I just hope that people will then take on the added support that they've got from these environmental groups.
All the people who came to our workshops took away plants, and we had about 80 people in workshops, 32 people had garden visits, I think.
The Migrant Resource Centre project aimed to link a range of migrant and social housing communities through skills development and to increase sustainable household practices through permaculture training and gardening.
So the most significant thing for my organisation, for CDO, has been an opportunity to look at sustainability as an objective, as a priority, and see how we can engage with it, and then the learnings from that and how we might take that and apply that when working with other groups in the region and with other organisations. So we work always in partnership because we're a regional forum and a community peak body, and the partnership with MRC has meant that we've actually begun the work, and the legacy for our organisation will be that we actually will be seeing how we can engage with marginal communities for social justice is the core kind of vision and the things that we work towards, and sustainability and social justice are now practically applied through this project.
I personally feel that when the project was first conceptualized, it has a very clear goal to achieve a sustainable lifestyle through capacity building as well, and social harmony as part of the outcome. Above and beyond all, I feel that it has achieved quite a bit in terms of lasting capacity building and skills that will go a long way amongst all these women. And we're talking about 4 core groups, including social housing, St. George Community Social Housing. So there's actually 5 key groups here. So that social engagement is quite clearly embedded, and you can see they're still engaging and asking us to do a bit more for them after the project. They don't want the project to finish.
I think from this project, I have noticed that from my group, I have, got a couple of more leaders. They, like we have, recognition of a few more leaders who have come out, and I'm amazed because they did very well. Before I was the leader, but now I have noticed a few more leaders, which is very good for me because you need more leaders in the community, and they're learning new skills. So how to manage? So they managed the whole, the one part of the fair, which was the project which was the food fair, and they did very well. So good coordination skills, they gain, and they gain the communication skills, the way they communicated with each other. So I noticed that was a very good thing.
It has brought out all these talents in us which we didn't think we have previously, and I'm very, very pleased, and I hope we do get this thing so that the communities can all come out. And I think it just brought out all the other communities like the Indian, the Christian, the Thai and Chinese. We all got along very well, and we enjoyed each other's company. It was excellent.
Leadership training helped me a lot. The whole process of learning. There was learning in every day, every night. And there was a lot of support from my family.
We're using all the tactics from this project to do it with to do the gardening in the balcony at the moment, yes. I think more than 30 people that get involved with that. But however, regarding using Natcha to be a space for the garden, in that probably particularly 15 or 20 people around that get involved with that. The booklet that we have at the moment, we already translated in Thai, and we're going to use all the group leader to come to the community and also represent that booklet, and also give them experience and give them technique how to grow the plants and things like that. That's what we're starting to do that. Even this project already finished, we still got a booklet, and we still got a volunteer to come to the community and give the information. Yeah.
The most significant change was actually getting in touch with the other people belonging to other cultures, and also getting a garden that was old age friendly, because most of our group members are very old, including me. I'm getting there. So it's hard for us to bend and do work. So gardening was, though enjoyable, it was a bit hard for us to involve ourselves much in that. So this permaculture garden, which was very old age friendly, was very useful and more attractive to us. My gardening experience was almost zilch when I started, but I learned a lot. And with perma gardening, the scientific way of doing things, and how also about Australian plants and native plants and birds and bees and things like that. And it never occurred to me that you grow worms in a farm to get a garden menu and things like that. So that was something new and quite exciting. The most important part for me was the linking of communities, because putting 5 different ethnic communities there for training, and all their leaders, they're very enthusiastic about learning. At the same time, we developed such a close friendship, which continues, and I hope it continues.
For me, I feel we in the 1 year and we grew very strongly and very quickly, and everyone very happy become a volunteer and involve and participate. And for me myself, I just grew the vegetable in my garden, and I every day see the vegetable grew, and I can pick the tomato every day, and just enjoy morning, and after work I can relax in the garden. So I feel it's a big change for my life.
For me, it's a big change. It's organization skill and leadership skill, especially English skill, because I'm responsible for the food festival activity. So every time I have to attend a meeting and communicate a different group, like India group, Pakistan, Thai. So we have to use the English communication. So after that, I go back and deliver this meeting information to our Chinese group. So everything you have to organize very good. So I think from here I learned a lot of organizing skill and leadership skill and English skill. So now I speak English in the public more confident. So now I still am looking for job, So I think it's improved.
Through this project, it's all 9 residents in this whole block have been involved, and the 3 or 4 children, one's just a little baby, but the other 3 children who are of school age have also been involved. But you've now got a block where people look after each other. They've got a shared project. Everyone's worked out. Someone wants a lettuce, someone likes the beetroot. It gets used. The kids have learnt how to reuse their scraps for mulching. These are people that didn't even know that necessarily that they had an interest, but had some time on their hand and were a bit lonely. And it's just brought out a whole community. So I'd love to be able to do this at every block.
You tenants that live here should be very proud of yourselves. I've worked with many tenants before that live in blocks. For everyone to come out and get involved, it just means so much to a community worker. It shows that you care for each other and you care about where you live, and it really touches my heart as a community worker to see the relationships that are formed through this project. And it's one project that's very close to my heart because you guys have all come through and worked really hard to make it happen.
For us, it's the friendships and the relationships that get formed. Yes, it's about the food, and yes, it's about the vegetables and the salad and the herbs, but it's really about the relationships and the fact that they'll all look after each other now. And if someone, for some reason, ends up hurting themselves or falling, there'll be people who will go out and, do the shopping or get them to the doctor's appointment or all those things that, if you live alone and you don't have extended family, then you can find yourself struggling with.
It's good because everyone's sort of coming down, coming out the back, having a wander, having a chat, and then going back upstairs.
We all got to know each other, all the neighbours, you know, and it's productive. The garden is productive. You don't have to go and buy things, you know. You're getting food from here, so it's very good, you know. And besides this, it's relaxing to be here just to see what we achieved, you know.
Building the planter boxes and bringing all the soil and sand together.
And what changes it made?
It stopped me from playing a lot of PlayStation, but I still play it. It stopped me from playing it.
I think after the official opening, one of the things the CEO said to me is we've got to ensure that we have more projects like this. It's a common interest for a lot of people, regardless of their race, their religion, their culture. They've lived there for 15 years, most of the residents, and never really said more than hi and bye. So at the end of the project, we noticed that people were organising parties in the garden for each other. Tenants were walking other children to school for sick parents. They were helping each other, and to me, just seeing the friendships build was probably one of the best things.
Food Connect aim to extend their community-supported agriculture system through building subscriptions for their local healthy food box scheme.
I guess one of them early on was just the conversation with council around social enterprise and eligibility for these sorts of things. And as a result of the conversation with in the Lower Georges area, it's actually had a flow-on effect through Sydney and other Sydney councils, where like our council and City Sydney Council too have seen what's going on in Parramatta in the Lower Georges area, and have actually engaged with the idea that social enterprise is a valid and different group that can still achieve these social and environmental outcomes. We came to the Lower Georges area where we might not have had it. And so it's actually built a relationship between Food Connect and people with Food Connect and the area. And we've built a couple of groups in particular that are strong and will continue into the future. And that means ongoing education and community building around sustainable local organic food. If you want to try and make change in the community over the shorter or medium term, then you've actually got to meet them where they are and what their needs are, and use, and in the case of social enterprise, provide a product that gives them what they want, meets them where they are, and it might challenge them a little bit so they take a step close towards higher environmental goals. And so the education or the values is embedded in the product rather than the reverse, which is I'm going to educate you into my values and to then want to buy the product. It's got to be the other way around. We had a study done on Food Connect subscribers, and over half of them increased the amount of fresh fruit and veg that they eat. The reason why that's important is we understand instinctually that eating more fruit and veg is important, but eating more fresh fruit and veg is actually a key aspect of improving your health, both personally and therefore also as a society. There's enormous societal costs around poor diet, poor nutrition. So yeah, it feels good to be part of that process of encouraging people to eat more fresh fruit and veg, particularly from local, sustainable and ethical producers.
I suppose the most significant change out of this project out of the Getting Greener program for me has been the opportunity to teach more. We run the PDC and that's given me confidence. It's also, I spent a lot of time preparing lots of information. I want to head down the training path. So for me personally, it's been a good stepping stone for me for teaching. I want to teach the kids here in the yard to grow veggies as well and be involved with the parents. for Permaculture Sydney South and for St George, it's running the PDC. We had an aquaponics workshop. I also attended the Enabling Change workshop with another member of Permaculture St George. So it's really, I think it's skilled us up to be better educators in permaculture, definitely.
So this project expects to get to the 3 oyster producers on Botany Bay and take them through the environmental management system process, towards the end of which we should have outcomes that look at internal and external business risks. We'll be working with these 3 producers, so 3 separate groups that work in Woolooware Bay, and towards the end of the project we'll be going through a bit of a risk matrix to work out the internal risks to their businesses, mainly probably water quality related, and then the external risks to their business which are outside the scope of what they're able to sort of take on. But we think they might be quite important to sort of ensuring that that group sort of fits into the community and some of their concerns are addressed. I was a bit apprehensive to start with Cole's new techniques, and I thought, oh yeah, we'll give this a go, we'll see how it all works. I'm not a big fan of Excel, but I think looking today it might sort of fit together okay. The reporting should be fairly straightforward. I guess as long as the guys are happy to continue through the process, I can't see too many problems. I don't have too many fears with the process.
In the urban water management program within the councils, council staff found that simple interpersonal connections were critical elements in their successful adoption of water-sensitive urban design within their councils.
For us, probably taking a long-term view, the most significant change has been the staff interest and engagement, because that's probably going to give us the best long-term sort of results in terms of applying WSUD. And what's really enabled us to do that, I think, is the time that the project's had. I think that it's the fact that it's run over a couple of years and not just a really short, sharp, 6-month or 12-month project, has given staff the time to develop a bit of an understanding, so that it's been more of a learning process, an incremental stepwise process that hasn't been too intensive. We've been very lucky in that some of the projects we've been able to deliver, like in terms of the on-ground projects, the Web Dam project, has enabled us to solve problems, I guess, for the organisation and also for the community. Yeah, okay, in terms of changes, well, I think probably the most significant change is, for me, is that when you mention WSUD to people, the blinds just don't go down, and they actually, you can see in their face, I know what you're talking about. I'm not sort of thinking, oh crikey, what's this all about? I know it, I'm happy to talk about it, and I see value in it, and I think that's really been very useful.
Although there was a great amount of support prior to the WSUD action plan and all that sort of stuff, I think the education within councils improved it all. I think prior to the WSUD action plan, people were aware of WSUD, but they weren't aware of how council could be part of it. Since then, we've got a lot of projects that have come apart through a lot of collaboration between groups. So we've not only got catchments and waterways, we've got parks, we've got sustainability, we've got DA group, all of them working together for one project. So I think that collaboration really improved since the WSUD action plan.
I think it was getting more people, it was getting people together to first talk about WSIT and what does it actually mean, and to get people familiar with the term. So we had people from technical services, including our stormwater engineers, from our depot, and from our planning, environmental department, and the executive all together. So it's really raised awareness of what WSIT actually means and ways that council can actually implement it. It doesn't have to be the massive $2 million stormwater harvesting project. It's just small things that we can actually do to raise awareness that we need to engage the community more as well to get them have a better understanding, because they are the drivers of the council. We are here to reflect community's needs. It's also helping us right at the moment. I'm referring to my WSIT action plan to request money for a project to see my council's got this, where executives endorsed it. We now need to implement it.
I think organisationally we've seen a real increase in communications cross-divisionally, because I think in the past there's been a lot of working in silos, you know, being all of us sort of going, okay, well I've got my budget here and I'm just going to do my job within that budget and that's my priority. And I think through this process we've all been able to get together and go, well, you know, this is my priority and that's what I do, and that's why I work the way I do. Being able to talk to other people and realise, well, that's kind of the problem, is that we're all doing that when we could be coming together a bit more and going, well, I can help you with that, or, you know, okay, if we save some budget here on this in the development process, that later on that will help in the operational process, because we'll have more money to spend on actually making that work. I think one of the best things is just getting everybody's opinions together in the one room and being able to say, okay, well that what you've said makes sense to me now. Before I'm just making up, you know, my own judgment of why you might be doing that, rather than actually communicating and finding out why you do that and how that benefits you in your job. Which is really help us, I guess, to know where our barriers are and how we can move forward to be able to, I guess, make the process smoother in the future, or make the process so that we are able to all talk to each other and consider all of the aspects, rather than just our own little area and our own little budget. In the past, I think a lot of people have thought that, you know, money is the barrier to a lot of the things that we do or the decisions that we make. And it kind of is in a way, like I said before about we're all in our little budget area and we've got to just consider that. But we, especially at Sutherland, I think we do have money to spend on these things. It's more than that that's the problem. There's communication about who's going to do what and why we would actually do those things and how much they would cost us, research and technology, and, you know, maybe we don't know enough about certain things, so we stick to what we know. So I think it's been a real